Welcome, aviation enthusiasts and history buffs, to Classic Duels, a captivating mini-documentary series that takes you deep into the heart of the adrenaline-pumping battles that unfolded in the skies during World War II. In this episode, we go back to 1940-41, and we're going to talk about the duels and dogfights between the Gloster Gladiator and the Fiat CR42 Falco, with the first encounter occurring in June 1940. The aerial dogfights between the Gloster Gladiator and the Fiat CR42 Falco took place during the early stages of World War II, particularly in the North African and Mediterranean theatres of operation. Both aircraft were biplanes and represented the final generation of such designs in military aviation. Despite their outdated configuration compared to contemporary monoplane fighters, such as the Spitfire and Bf-109, they went on to play significant roles in the early stages of the war. The Gladiator was a British-built biplane fighter that entered service with the Royal Air Force in 1937. It was the last biplane fighter to be used operationally by the RAF, but was considered advanced for its time, featuring a metal frame and an enclosed cockpit, which provided better protection for the pilot compared to its predecessors. The Gladiator boasted robust construction, great manoeuvrability and respectable armament, which made it a formidable opponent for enemy fighters in the early years of World War II. On the other hand, the Fiat CR42 Falco was an Italian biplane fighter that entered service with the Regia Aeronautica, or Italian Air Force, in 1939, shortly before the outbreak of World War II. The CR42 was a modernised version of earlier Fiat biplane designs, featuring a sleeker airframe and improved performance. Although it was outdated compared to contemporary monoplane fighters, the CR42's agility and more powerful engine still made it a challenging adversary. The first encounters between the Gloster Gladiator and the Fiat CR42 Falco occurred during the early stages of the North African campaign in 1940. The Italian Air Force deployed CR42s to support ground operations in Italian-controlled Libya, while the RAF stationed Gladiator squadrons in Egypt to defend British interests in the region. These duels were characterised by manoeuvrability, sharp turns and skilled marksmanship as pilots sought to gain the upper hand over their adversaries. In these early engagements, the Gladiator proved to be a formidable opponent for the CR42. Its superior agility allowed British pilots to outmaneuver the Italian biplanes in dogfights, especially at lower altitudes. Despite the challenges posed by the Gladiators, the Falco pilots demonstrated skill and determination in combat. The Italians utilised their superior numbers and high altitude performance to their advantage, often employing hit-and-run or dive-and-zoom tactics to avoid prolonged dogfights with the more agile British fighters. One big advantage the Gladiators had over the Falcos was its radio equipment. While its radio equipment didn't have very long range and was easily affected by vibrations and temperature changes during flight, the Italian fighters didn't even have a wireless system. The Falcos had a receiver, but it was unreliable, and the pilot had to constantly adjust and tune it while flying. So a lot of the time, the Gladiator's radio equipment proved to be the British pilot's trump card. It allowed them to conduct well-organised attacks and make full use of the limited number of Gladiators available when combat was joined. Its TR9 AM set proved to be crucial when it came to avoiding losses, as pilots could send timely warnings to comrades that were under attack. Of course, the outcome of these aerial duels often depended on various factors, including pilot skill, tactics employed, and the specific strengths and weaknesses of each aircraft. While the Gladiator boasted superior armament, technology and rugged construction, the agile CR42s were the better aircraft on paper, had better high-altitude performance and were mostly superior in numbers, but in less coordinated formations. As a result, engagements between the two aircraft were often closely contested and could go either way. After the fall of Greece, the Gloster Gladiator had pretty much disappeared from frontline service, but the Fiat CR42s soldiered on till the end of the war, and the Falco continued to be effective in other roles such as a fighter bomber and night fighter, and they were pretty effective in shooting down the early British single and twin engine bombers. And while the Gladiator achieved very good results against enemy fighters, they weren't as much good when it came to shooting down the fast Italian bombers. Ultimately, the introduction of more modern monoplane fighters such as the Hawker Hurricane, Fiat G50 and the Macchi C200 rendered both the Gladiator and the CR42 obsolete in the main combat roles. However, their contributions during the early stages of World War II, including the engagements in North Africa and the Mediterranean, showcased the importance of agility, tactics, technology and pilot skill in aerial warfare. Today, both aircraft are remembered for their roles in shaping the early air campaigns of World War II, and for the bravery of the pilots who flew them. So that's it for this glimpse into epic struggles of the past. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with more riveting tales of aviation history, etc. Check out the two videos at the end, all my CD reviews, or even the playlist I've created. Cheers.